For more on this, Neri Zilber joins us now from Tel Aviv. He's a fellow at the Washington Institute for Near East Policy. Thank you for joining us today. Neri, what do you think has brought about the rise in the far right in Israel?
Well, I think it goes back now to about 50 years to the 1967 war. So that's when Israel occupied the West Bank. And since then, really since the early 70s, we've seen the rise of these communities, these settlements in the West Bank. So with the growing construction came growing political power in general in the country, demographically just by sheer numbers, going to the voting booth and voting for certain parties. And in particular, I would say inside the ruling Likud party. So we've seen, especially over the past 20 years, settler individuals and settler groups really grow their influence inside the ruling party. And as it has for the better part of 30 years now, the Likud has been running Israel.
Mm-hmm. And how influential are they really in Israeli politics?
Well, they're quite influential. It's not that they always get what they want. Israel has restrained settlement growth somewhat, especially when you have an American president who makes it a priority to curtail settlement growth. So it's not that they always get what they want, but oftentimes they set red lines for most Israeli governments for what they can't do, i.e. pulling out certain settlements, going further in negotiations with the Palestinians than they're comfortable with. So they have power, they have influence, and what we saw really over the past week in the political turmoil here in Israel is really Netanyahu, the prime minister, and the education minister, Bennett, kind of fighting over the right wing, the Israeli right, which the settlers are a big part of.
Mm-hmm. The prime minister managed to hold off a threat which came from the right to his government for now, but for how long? And how will his taking over as defense minister, how do you think that will affect the region?
Well, that's right. Netanyahu was successful in fending off a challenge from the right. He sent certain emissaries, we know, to West Bank rabbis for them to go talk to Naftali Bennett, the education minister, to urge him not to topple the government. And it's interesting, the argument they made is that, look, you may be right, you may be wrong on the merits of the Gaza ceasefire and Israeli defense policy, but if you topple this right-wing government, we don't know what will come after. And Netanyahu raised the fear, raised the threat of what happened in the past when right-wing governments were toppled and then left-wing governments came into power and moved further with regard to peace talks with the Palestinians. So that's with regard to the first question. The second question, Netanyahu has been essentially running security and defense policy here in Israel for the past 2 years, despite the fact that he wasn't officially the defense minister. Victor Lieberman, the defense minister who resigned, was in and of itself fairly moderate, considering his past statements, but he was really following the army's line, and the army and the prime minister have been fairly in sync with regard to what to do, especially with regard to Gaza. So I don't foresee any real changes.
All right, Neri Zilber, appreciate your thoughts today, joining us from Tel Aviv.